This is a reading of the address at the laying of the foundation stone of the Dornoch building, September 20th, 1913. My dear sisters and brothers, today, on this festive evening, let us truly understand one another. Let us understand that for the soul, this deed signifies, in a certain sense, a solemn vow or pledge. Our striving has brought it about that here, in this place, from which we can see far out into the four elemental directions of the compass rose, we are allowed to erect this emblem of the spiritual life of the modern age. Let us understand that insofar as we feel our souls united with what we have laid symbolically into the earth, we have today committed ourselves to the spiritual stream of the evolution of humankind that we recognize to be right and true. Let us try, my dear sisters and brothers, to make this solemn promise in our souls, that in this moment we will look away from all of the small concerns of life, from all that must necessarily bind us as human beings with everyday life. In this moment, let us awaken within ourselves the thought of the bond between the human soul and the striving at this turn of an era. Let us try to think for a moment on the fact that since we have done what we wish to accomplish this evening, we must carry within ourselves the consciousness of looking out into far, far cycles of time to become aware of how this mission, whose emblem this building is intended to be, fits into the great mission of humankind upon our earthly planet. Let us try, not with pride or presumption, but with humility, devotion, and a willing sense of self-sacrifice, to direct our souls upward toward the great plans and goals of human activity on the earth. Let us try to place ourselves in the state in which we ought actually to be, and in which we must be, if we are to understand this moment correctly. Let us try to think how the great tidings and message, the primeval, eternal gospel of divine spiritual life, long ago passed into earthly evolution, and how it passed over the earth in the days when the divine spirits themselves were still the great teachers of humankind. Let us try to place ourselves, my dear sisters and brothers, back into those sacred ages of the earth, of which a last yearning and memory rises up in us when we think of ourselves in ancient Greece, surrounded by the last echoes of mystery wisdom and the first tones of philosophy, hearing the great Plato telling of the eternal ideas and the eternal heil of the world. And let us try to grasp what since those times has spread across earthly evolution as luciferic and Ahrimanic influences. Let us try to make clear to ourselves how our connection with divine world existence, with willing, feeling, and divine spiritual cognition, has disappeared. In this moment, let us try deep down in our souls to sympathize with what human souls feel in the countries of the East, North, West, and South. Souls who we may recognize as the best ones, who do not get beyond what we can express with the words, an undefined longing and hoping for the Spirit. Look around you my dear sisters and brothers, and see how this undefined longing and vague hope for the Spirit prevails in humanity today. Feel and listen. Hear by the foundation stone of our emblem and landmark how the cry for an answer may be heard in the vague longing and hoping of humanity for the Spirit, for an answer that can be given only where spiritual science is able to preside with its gospel of knowledge of the Spirit. Try to inscribe into your souls the greatness of this moment that we are experiencing this evening. If we could hear humanity's yearning call for the Spirit and wanted to erect the true building of truth from which the message will be proclaimed more and more, if we can feel this in the life of the world, then this evening truly we will understand one another. Then, neither in pride nor in the overestimation of our striving, but in humility, in devotion, and willingness for self-sacrifice, we will know that in our effortful striving, we must be the ones who continue the spiritual work that has been lost in the Western world in the course of the advancing evolution of humanity. This development, however, had to lead through the countercurrent of Ahrimanic forces to the point where humanity stands today. Now, if the longing cry for the Spirit is not heard, the soul will wither and waste away. Dear sisters and brothers, experience these anxieties. We must do so if we are to be allowed to continue to fight that great spiritual battle, which is a battle glowing with the fire of love in the great spiritual battle that must continue, and which was once led by our ancestors when they repelled the Ahrimanic onslaught of the Moors. Led by karma, we stand at this moment in a place through which important spiritual currents have passed. Let us feel within ourselves this evening the full seriousness of the situation. Long ago, humanity reached the final point in its striving for personality, when, in the fullness of this earthly personality, the heritage of the divine leaders of the primeval beginning of earthly evolution had withered away. The cosmic word appeared in the east. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. And the Word appeared to and spoke to human souls. Fill earthly evolution with the meaning of the earth. Now the Word itself has passed over into the aura of the earth and has been received by the earth's spiritual aura. 4 times the cosmic word has been proclaimed through the centuries, which will soon amount to 2 millennia. Thus has the light of the world radiated into earthly evolution. Ever deeper Ahriman sank and had to sink. Let us feel ourselves surrounded by human souls, in which resounds a longing cry for the Spirit. But let us feel too, my dear sisters and brothers, how these human souls must continue their universal cry of longing, because Ahriman, dark Ahriman, is spreading chaos over the spiritual knowledge of the world of the higher hierarchies. Feel that the possibility is present to add to the word of the Spirit, already proclaimed 4 times, another proclamation that I can present to you only in a symbol. From the east came the light and the word of the proclamation. From the east it moved west, proclaimed 4 times in the 4 Gospels, waiting and expecting the coming of a mirror from the west, one that would add knowledge to what is still only a proclamation. Spoken 4 times of the cosmic word, it goes deeply into our hearts and souls. when we take in that sermon spoken there on the Mount, when the period for the maturing of the human personality was fulfilled and the ancient light of the Spirit had faded away, and the new light of Spirit had appeared. The new light of the Spirit had appeared. And after it appeared, it moved from east to west through centuries of human development, waiting for understanding of the words that once resonated into human hearts in the Sermon on the Mount. Out of the depths of world evolution, as the mystery of Golgotha was consummated, resounded that first eternal prayer, spoken as the proclamation of the cosmic word. That immemorial prayer resonated deeply. It was to make known to the microcosm the mystery of existence in the depths of the soul. And out of the most innermost reaches of the human heart, it was to be heard ringing out from east to west. What we know as the Lord's Prayer. But this cosmic word itself contained waiting as it sank into the microcosm in those earlier days. What would sound forth one day in the fifth gospel. Human souls would first have to mature further in order to understand what is most ancient from the Western point of view. Because the macrocosmic gospel was meant to sound like an echo, resonating in the microcosmic gospel of the East. If we are able to bring understanding to the present moment, then an understanding can open within us for the idea that a fifth gospel can be added to the four extant gospels. May these words, which express the secrets of the macrocosm, resound this evening in addition to the secrets of the microcosm. As the first aspect of the fifth gospel shall here resound the macrocosmic counter-image of the microcosmic prayer, which was first proclaimed from the east to the west. May the macrocosmic world prayer reverberate as a sign of our understanding and appreciation. It is contained in the fifth ancient and original gospel, which is connected with the moon and with Jupiter, as the four gospels are connected with the earth. Amen. Evil's reign, witness of I-ness separating itself, guilt of selfhood incurred through others, experienced in the daily bread, in which the will of heaven does not reign, because human beings separated from your kingdom and forgot your names, you fathers in the heavens. The Lord's Prayer was given as the prayer of humankind. The microcosmic Lord's Prayer, which was proclaimed from the east to the west, now sounds forth toward the ancient macrocosmic prayer. It resounds thus if it is properly understood, when it sounds its way out into the vast spaces of the worlds and is echoed back with the words shaped by the macrocosm. Let us take the macrocosmic Lord's Prayer with us, feeling that with this prayer we are beginning to gain an understanding for the gospel of knowledge, the fifth gospel. From this important moment, let us carry home in our souls with the seriousness and dignity of our will, the certainty that all wisdom sought by the human soul, if the seeking is genuine, is a countercurrent of cosmic wisdom, and that all human love that is rooted in the selfless love of the soul is fructified by the love that presides in human evolution. Through all earthly periods and in all human souls, a strengthening through cosmic force works out of the strong human will. which finds fulfillment in the sense of existence and the sense of the earth. Today, humankind begs for this cosmic force, turning its attention uncertainly toward a spirit it hopes to find, but is unwilling to recognize, because Ahriman has sunk unconscious fear into the human soul whenever spirit is spoken of. In this moment, let us feel this, my sisters and brothers. If you feel this, you will be able to arm yourselves for your spiritual work, to prove yourselves as human beings who manifest the light of the Spirit through the power of thought, even when dark Ahriman seeks to spread the darkness of chaos over the fully awakened clairvoyant capacity, dulling wisdom. Fill your souls, sisters and brothers, with the longing for true knowledge of the Spirit, in accordance with true human love and a strong desire. Try to awaken within yourselves the spirit who can trust the language of the cosmic word, which echoes back to us out of the vast reaches of the universe and of space, sounding its way into our souls. That is what one must truly feel this evening if one has grasped the meaning of existence. Human souls have reached the limit of their striving. Feel what should happen with this symbol, this landmark, whose foundation stone we have laid today. But feel this with humility, not with pride, with devotion and willingness to sacrifice, not with hubris. Feel the meaning of the knowledge that we should gain because we are able to know this, that the veil enveloping the spiritual beings in the vast reaches of space must be broken through in our time if spiritual beings are to speak to us of the meaning of existence. Human souls everywhere around us will need to take in the meaning of existence, hear how in different spiritual places, spiritual science, religion, and art are spoken of, and take action accordingly. Hear how much more empty the soul forces of striving have become. Feel that you must learn to fructify these soul forces by means of spiritual imagination, inspiration, and intuition. Feel what can be found if you correctly hear the tone of creative spirituality. Those who, in addition to the ancient Lord's Prayer, can learn to understand the meaning of the prayer of the fifth gospel will be able to recognize and thoroughly understand this meaning and purpose in and for our time. When we learn to understand the sense of these words, we shall seek to take up and nourish the seeds that must bloom if earthly evolution is to continue and flourish rather than withering. Through human will, the earth can reach its goal, which has been determined from the earliest reaches of time. Feel this evening, then, that wisdom and the meaning of the new knowledge, the new love, and a new strong force must become alive in the souls of human beings, souls that will blossom and bear fruit in future earthly evolutions. Will need to understand what we are assimilating into our souls for the first time today. The macrocosmically reverberating voice of the ancient eternal prayer. Om. Amen. Evils reign. Witness of I-ness separating itself. Guilt of selfhood incurred through others, experienced in the daily bread, in which the will of heaven does not reign, because human beings separated from your kingdom and forgot your names, you fathers in the heavens. Thus, we take our leave from one another, taking with us in our souls a consciousness of the meaning and the importance of the seriousness and dignity of the deed that we have carried out. The consciousness of this evening should spark within us the striving for knowledge of a new revelation given to humankind. The human soul thirsts for this and shall drink from it, but not until it shall fearlessly win belief and trust in what spiritual science can proclaim. And spiritual science, for its part, should unite what for a time was separated in human evolution: religion, art, and science. Let us take this idea with us, my sisters and brothers, as a memory of this communally celebrated hour that we do not ever wish to forget. Then followed the covering and cementing of the foundation stone of the Goetheanum.